What's up, my dudes? Welcome to the Hubrist. My name is Alec Jace. I was told specifically not to talk about this subject because it's kind of taboo, but I don't really find it to be all that taboo, if I'm being honest. The person that told me not to do it makes a lot of money on YouTube through a very established channel, and I really understand where he's coming from on that. However, this channel is not making me any money right now, so I went ahead and just said, fuck. Hola, perrita. Thanks. So let's get started first on why I'm making this video. I've been working on a video for about 2 weeks about something that is near and dear to my heart, and that is just basically ad serving in general. I wanted to do a basic overview for people that were not aware of how it worked technically. And I've been working on that for a while, and I wanted to add some of this subject matter into it, but it didn't really fit the major theme because this is more theoretical than it is mathematics or algorithms. So I went ahead and we're going to throw together this video really quickly and put it out there just so I don't lose track of the information, and I want to get it out before it leaves my head. For a few of you who know me from a former life, I was a technical trainer for the second largest ad server in the world. I only say this because I'm coming at this from an informed angle, and while some of my viewpoints may be a little dated at this point, because I've been out of it for a couple years now, I have been keeping track of the trends, and they're getting sort of more embedded in our organic social life as we move forward. So it's the same ideas that we used to practice back at my old job. It's just now tailored more organically into social media. So talking specifically to independent artists and creators here, you are in a landscape right now where you're going to be expected to work for free for a very long time. You're giving away a free platform for advertisers to advertise on, basically. You're giving away your media in order to make money off of it through advertisers. To do this, we've seen people with successful YouTube channels with only phones. So it's not as if you need a lighting setup like I have. You don't need good cameras. You don't need any of the resources that I necessarily have. I'm just a 33-year-old man with some resources, that's all. I'm going in with the assumption that you have the very basic things to upload to YouTube, to put your music on SoundCloud or whatever you need to do, to record the music, basically. That's an assumption that I'm making. In order to build a foundation to make money doing any of these things, what you do has to be of some value. So you need to be reaching out to an audience of some sort with what you're doing, and someone needs to like it. And that's not really that hard nowadays. As long as you are coming at it from a focused standpoint, usually you're going to find an audience that's going to appreciate what you're doing, if what you're doing is in any way skilled. This tends to get lost in the minutia, but as frivolous as it might sound, and as sort of socially ridiculous as it might sound, right now what you're doing is you're building a foundation on your likes, your subs, your comments, and your shares. That is your income right now. Because everything that you're doing right now, while you might not be getting paid for it this second, will pay in the future if you get enough, if you pass these thresholds to make that money later. So if you're gathering subs right now, and a year from now on YouTube you hit those 1,000 subs, 1,000 hours viewed a month threshold, then those old subs are still going to make you money. Those old likes will make you show up probably a little bit more. You'll see some of your stuff from a year ago maybe showing up on the front pages of some people's YouTube subscriptions, things like that. It doesn't always happen that way. The algorithm can go either way about it, but that is your income currently. That's the thing that you're not really investing right now. That's all the profit that you're going to make off the bat, unless you're very lucky and you hit it with something interesting right away, which is not totally out of bounds nowadays. But it is getting more competitive. What you need to recognize right now is that you have no room in your life we talk about these things, and me being my age and being a little bit cynical, you have no room to be cynical about things like I just said, the likes, the shares, the subs, the comments. Again, that might all sound really silly right now, but if you're dealing in something that you plan to make your livelihood or you plan to make second income off of, and this is part of your dream, this is part of your priority, you have no room to be thinking of things that way. What you need to do is you need to think of those things as very serious metrics, and as any business would, you need to use those metrics to further your brand. If there's anyone in your life who, when you tell them, hey, I need likes on this video, hey, I need shares on this video, hey, I need your subscription, if those people are not taking you seriously because of the words that you're using and they sound, you know, oh, like these millennials, all they care about is likes and subs and shares. Well, yeah, because those are money. That's money. That is a monetary gain for you eventually. So if anyone's not taking your dream seriously, just forget them. Right now what you're doing is establishing yourself in a brand new economy. And maybe other people are not going to take you seriously, but you know what? Those people are dinosaurs and they're not going to match what you're doing later on in the future. I'm careful with this because I'm touching upon this particular subject in my larger video, but just as, again, a way of framing this, you are giving up all of your social media as a personal social thing. You're a brand now. When you become a brand, if you're trying to get commercial and you're trying to establish any kind of monetary gain, for me, you know, I'm probably going to miss out on some money because I am going to say things like fuck and shit, and I'm going to use foul language, I'm going to be crass, and I'm going to say things that people don't like sometimes. And a lot of my art has been that recently. So I'm using this channel as a way to promote my movie right now, and my movie is very disturbing to look at. So some of those people are not going to understand that that's a separate thing from who I am personally. But that being my brand now, I need to go ahead and realize that that has to be part of also my social media presence. Because if that ever does become popular, people are going to look for me on my social media. You know, people want to get personal with the brands that they enjoy. And I know I keep saying brands, but I'm talking about individuals on Instagram you enjoy. Those are commercial entities now. You know, they are people. We understand that they have a social life outside of what they do. But social media-wise, they are being searched every day on their, like, for their personal Facebooks and things like that. So that world is gone for you. Everything that you possess right now in social media needs to become part of your brand. So if there's something that doesn't line up with your brand, get rid of it. You may have noticed on a few social media platforms, if you had Facebook, for example, that there was a moment in time when your timeline or your news feed became non-chronological, non-linear, and instead started showing you things that you more interacted with. They did this as sort of an organic way to test a larger marketing tool for their platform. Now, this is very organic, the way that it works. They push things on you based on the posts that you like. If you get people to like your posts and subscribe to your pages, it's going to show up on other people's feeds. That's just the way it is. The more people that like your stuff, the more people that are subscribed, the more you're going to be suggested moving forward to heighten other people's experiences if they enjoy that kind of stuff that you're putting out. So that's really something to be cognizant of. Things are not chronological anymore the way people post. Not even on Twitter anymore, right? They're using an algorithm based on your likes and dislikes to plug in the things that you are going to find most interesting. It not only improves social media to some extent. I know I kind of prefer a chronological timeline if I was given the choice, but for people that only use Facebook for a couple seconds a day just to see what their friends are doing, I understand how that works organically, just to see the people that they want to see. Having said that, I'm going to get to the major point of this video because I want to get this video out of the way. It's not really that important in the grand scheme of things. If you're just starting out, again, with the assumption that you have the resources to get started, go on the tech channels if you're not there yet. With the assumption that you have all that stuff in place and you're ready to put out your videos or put out your Instagram rollout, whatever it is, you have to give people in your personal life and on those personal social media outlets, you need to give them a responsibility now. If they care about you and if they care about your dream, then you need to place it in front of them and make sure that they know that you're taking yourself seriously. If you don't take yourself seriously, then they never will. Moving forward, you have to ask, you have to plead with people up front, because if you have 500 friends on Facebook, then that should be 500 subs in your channel. Do you understand what kind of incredible install base that is? So if people are not willing to work with you and support you with a simple, they're not paying any money for a subscription. They're not paying you money to like your page. They're not paying money for you to share your stuff. If they can't be behind you on this, then fuck them. You sincerely need to press the people in your life to push your brand. I'm not talking about, multi-level marketing here. I'm not talking about people who work for Rodan and Fields and push on their own social media the brand of somebody else or a corporation's better interests. I'm talking about your better interest. If they care about you, if they are your friends, then it should be no question. And one of the reasons I bring up this, for example, and one of the reasons it's pissing me off enough to make this video is because I pleaded on social media for my friends, my 500 Facebook friends, to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now I know I got over 500 impressions on that particular post. I know that because I have a social media package that allows me to see that. I know that pretty much all my friends that exist that are still using Facebook saw that. And I got 5 subscriptions. It was at that point that I realized I got to start pushing people. I got to start getting people in with my brand, because if they can't support me on something that simple, then there's no reason for us to even be communicating. And if they're not going to take it seriously with me, just to take 5 seconds out of their day to like a page, then who are they? Like, what are they in my life? They can't do that. So I learned pretty quickly, almost immediately, whenever I did this rollout, I have a good install base to begin with, and I know how to roll pretty well with ambiguous audiences at this point. But I did not expect that my friends would not respond to a post basically pleading them, begging them to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And that's a fucking shame, because even if they don't watch any of my videos, I mean, the simplest thing they could have done was click a button, and they didn't. So I'm not using that kind of bitterness to, and believe me, I'm self-aware enough to know that I'm a little bit bitter about it, but I'm not going to use that to be hostile to anybody, but I'm going to push it back in their faces and say, hey, look, for those of you who did not subscribe last time, here it is again. Like, if you care about what I'm doing, please hop on board. You need to make people understand that right now, even though you're not making money and you might not be considered a serious, entity in the game, that's what you're trying to be, and that those likes and shares and comments and subs are all part of the foundation that is going to make you money someday. If you cannot convince your friends of that, if you cannot convince your friends to take you seriously, then they are not your friends, and you need to get new friends. So that's it. I just really wanted to kind of make just a general statement about that. I know people are going to take some of the hyperbole that I used maybe a little too seriously, but it is what it is, I mean, if you need to be forceful with friends to help them support your goals, then that's what you got to do. So I thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Alec Jace on Twitter, AlecJace, Alec Jace on Instagram, Alec Jace on Facebook. You know what? I'm so small right now, you can just friend me on Facebook and I would accept it. I'm selling out. If you have any questions, email me, alecjace@gmail.com. I already said that. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a good day.